Shoulder. Rotator cuff tear help video. Early rehabilitation. The rotator cuff is a group of muscles surrounding the shoulder joint. They are supraspinatus, infraspinatus, subscapularis and teres minor. The rotator cuff basically aids movement of the shoulder joint by keeping the shoulder tight in the socket. It also controls translation, which is basically keeping it in the center of the socket. It is very important with sensory motor control and proprioception. So a rotator cuff tear is a tear in the tendon of one of these muscles. Most commonly affected is supraspinatus. Function can be heavily affected by a rotator cuff tear. In some cases, the lack of use can cause the shoulder to stiffen and lose movement. If this is the case, then the following exercises should help. Firstly, it is important that before you follow this video that you have a firm diagnosis of a rotator cuff tear and you have read the disclaimer for this video. General shoulder range of movement exercises. If you need to improve the general range of movement in your shoulders, then this is an excellent group of exercises. Remember, these exercises should be pain-free during, after and the next day. The most that you should feel is a strong stretch sensation. Each exercise should be held for 20 to 30 seconds at the end of range, and you should aim to perform all of these exercises between 4 to 6 times per day. Flexion. Standing facing a wall, lift your arm up and out in front of your body and place your hand on the wall. Now lean your body forwards at your hips so that you feel a stretch in your shoulder. Abduction. Stand side onto a wall and lift your arm up and out to the side and place your hand on the wall. Now lean your body sideways so that you feel a stretch in your shoulder. External rotation. Standing in a doorway with the palm of your hand on the frame while keeping your elbow by your side at all times, step your body around until you feel the stretch in your shoulder. Hand behind your back. Take hold of a towel at one end and dangle it down your back. Now with the arm that you want to stretch, grab hold of the other end of the towel. Next, use the upper arm to pull the towel up and over the shoulder so that it stretches your lower arm up your back. Flexibility takes time to establish, so be patient as it could take several months to achieve improvements. Alongside restoring your movement, you will need to progressively load and strengthen the rotator cuff itself. If your tear is quite painful and limiting, then you should start with some basic exercises first. Here are some good ones to begin with. Isometric shoulder strengthening exercises. If you need to improve the basic strength in your shoulders, then this is an excellent group of exercises for early shoulder rehabilitation. Remember, these exercises should be pain-free during, after and the next day. Each exercise should be held for 10 seconds with a pressure that is below your pain threshold. Therefore, it shouldn't increase your pain at all. If it does, then push with less pressure. You should aim to build up to 4 sets of this exercise with a few minutes rest between sets. You should perform all these exercises twice per day. It is also important to perform all exercises in a good posture at all times. Flexion. Standing facing a wall, put your hand into a fist, bend your elbow to 90 degrees. Next, push your arm forwards so that you're pressing your fist into the wall and hold. Abduction. Stand side onto a wall so that your shoulder is nearly touching it. Next, bend your elbow to 90 degrees and your palm is facing away from the wall. Take your arm out to the side so that your hand and whole forearm are touching the wall and push into the wall and hold. External rotation. Stand side onto a wall so that your shoulder is nearly touching it. Next, bend your elbow to 90 degrees and your palm is facing away from the wall. Keep your elbow in, touching your side at all times. Next, turn your arm out, pivoting your elbow on your hip and press the hand against the wall and hold. Internal rotation. Stand side on in a doorway. Next, bend your elbow to 90 degrees and your palm is facing towards the door frame. Keep your elbow in, touching your side at all times. Next, turn your arm inwards, pivoting your elbow on your hip and press the palm of your hand against the door frame and hold. Once these group of exercises become easy, then you will need to progress to harder and more advanced exercises. Alongside these basic early strengthening exercises, you need to improve the stability of your shoulder. The first exercise for this is shoulder stabilization in sitting. If you need to improve your rotator cuff function due to a shoulder problem, then this is an excellent exercise for early rehabilitation. It works the muscles in a closed chain position, which increases rotator cuff activity. It is a good exercise if you have restricted movement or significant pain, but it is important to know that you will need to advance to other exercises as you improve. I suggest that you read the Hawks Physiotherapy blog article on the rotator cuff for more detail. Sit in a good posture with palms resting on a surface by your sides. Gently lean sideways so the shoulder takes a little weight. Repeat with the other side. Perform 10 repetitions for each side and repeat for 3 sets in total. Once you have mastered this, then the next basic level stability exercise is shoulder stabilization in standing. If you need to improve your rotator cuff function due to a shoulder problem, then this is an excellent exercise for early rehabilitation. It works the muscles in a closed chain position, which increases rotator cuff activity. It is a good exercise if you have restricted movement or significant pain, but it is important to know that you will need to advance to other exercises as you improve. Stand leaning forward slightly with your forearms on a wall so that your shoulders take a little weight. Keeping your posture good, shift your weight from side to side very slightly. Perform 10 repetitions for each side and repeat for 3 sets in total. Once you have progressed through these basic exercises, you will need to move on to intermediate strengthening and stability exercises, which will be in the next video.